Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Let's talk business. I'm really excited to connect with you once again. And in today's session, we are going to talk about the London market messaging overview. So, in this session, I'm going to talk about the overview where I'm going to discuss about what are the various messages which is available in London market. And in subsequent episodes, I will discuss those messages in detail. So far we have covered the Lloyd's of London introduction, and in the introduction session we discuss about what are the various key stakeholder and how the market is organized. Interesting session. If you have not gone through, I recommend you to go through the session and get some information about the Lloyd's market. And then we discuss about the various business processes within the Lloyd's, which include from placing and account and settlement, claim, and all those things. So that presentation is also available in my channel, Let's Talk Business. And in this session, we are going to discuss about the London market messaging uh, as planned. And within the London market messaging, I'm going to give you a brief idea about the London market structure, what is the history and overview about uh, the messages, what are the various message type. We will also cover Accord for all, and then we will talk about the infrastructure, which is XAG, XDH, and TMEL. As I said earlier, I'm going to discuss about the business processes around those messages, including upfront premium or dealing premium, later on in the session. So before starting the session, once again, I'm Ravi Shankar. I'm having more than 14 years of experience in business analysis. I'm largely associated with PNC and General Insurance. If you have any question related to this session, you can send me an email at ravi.s.sharma@hotmail.com, and you can also reach me out at linkedin.com/in/Ravi S. Sharma. So as I said, before starting the session, let me give you a quick overview about the London market, how the London market is organized. The London market is a distinct and separate part of the insurance and reinsurance sector. It represents largely these three parts, which include insurance and reinsurance companies, the Lloyd syndicates, which we already also discussed, and they also operate outside London through service companies. We have discussed about the service companies in our first session, introduction session, and they also have the P&I clubs, which is protection and indemnity clubs, which is largely dealing with marine liability insurance. So almost all the insurance company in London market are member of either ILU or LIRMA. So again, if you are not aware about this term ILU and LIRMA, you can go back to my previous session. You can have a idea about what are ILU and what are LIRMA, but I'll still give you some brief idea about what are these setups, that ILU and LIRMA. On your right hand side, I'm just trying to show how the London market is organized. The London market is largely organized in two parts, which include bureau market and non-bureau market. And when we say the London market, we are largely talking about the bureau market. And within the bureau market, you have Lloyd's, and you also have the company market, which is largely a national underwriting association. And within the company market, you have two bureaus, which is Institute of London Underwriter, which is ILU, and London Insurance and Reinsurance Market Association, which is LIRMA. So, so this is the London market structure. In the bureau market specifically, we have Lloyd's of London. We discuss about Lloyd's of London. It's a mutualized market where members join together to form a syndicate and insure the risks. And then we have International Underwriting Association of London, IUA, which is a larger organization, and its aim and it represents the international and wholesale insurance and reinsurance companies across the globe, and it exists to protect and strengthen the business environment for its member operating through the London. So it's a very big organization. Then the IOA came into the effect from 1st January 1999 as a result of merger of two bureaus, which is ILU and LIRMA. Quickly touch upon the ILU represent the marine and aviation company largely, and the LIRMA represents the non-marine insurance and reinsurance companies' interest. So this is how largely they are organized. Now, from the masses context, we are going to focus on these three bureaus: Lloyd's, Institute of London Underwriter, which is ILU, and LIRMA, which stands for London Insurance and Reinsurance Market Association. I will highly recommend to go back to my previous slide and get an idea about what are these bureaus in order to appreciate this session fully. So now let me give you a brief background about the messaging, how the messaging involved. What happened in late 1980s, a long back, the London insurance market adopted the EDI message, which stands for Electronic Data Interchange message, to exchange the information between the system and the parties. So they felt the need of having some sort of electronic interface or electronic messaging system where they can send and receive the message to the various stakeholders involved in the London market. So what happened that the LIMNET developed the EDI standard and now is managed by the exchanging insure services. LIMNET stand for London Insurance Market Network, was established by London Trade Association for processing insurance policies initially, and it was involved in the notification and settlement of insurance policies claim initially. And then what happened? Under this LIMNET, the London market developed the EDI standard to exchange the information across various key stakeholders. And originally, the EDI standard was developed largely by keeping mind of mainframe and mini computer system, which look like this. Now we don't see this kind of a system, but yes, the EDI message was initially developed by LIMNET, keeping the mainframe and the mini computers in mind. Now currently, because a lot of modernization and a lot of internet related development, London market has started thinking about adopting the new standards, and they decided to adopt the Accord standard in order to exchange the information electronically in a structured way. And Accord standard, they use the XML message format, which stands for extensible markup language, and Accord stands for Association for Cooperative Operation Research and Development Message. So Accord is a larger organization which provides the standard for information interchange. The LMG is now made it clear that all the messages services and the market will build around the Accord messages. So since Accord, they have decided the LMG is a market-wide body. Since they have decided that they will use the Accord, so and they mandate the Accord message standard across all their modernization activity, which is under the TOM initiative, a Target Operating Model initiative. And if you remember, we briefly touch about the TOM, where we discuss about the standard data capture, the PPL. Then we also discuss about the CRSP and other things. So they already made it clear that Accord message standard will be a standard for messaging across the London market. Now coming back to the infrastructure which is supporting the messages, there are two parties which is managing the Accord, which is managing the message infrastructure within the London market. One is XIS, which stand for Exchanging Insure Services, and the second one is TMEL, which is the Message Exchange Limited, provide the central infrastructure to support the message across the market. So these are the guys who provide the necessary infrastructure in order to support the messaging within the London market. We'll discuss more about these two guys later on in our this session. Actually required me to give you some brief background about the XIS. We have also covered XIS in our previous sessions, but once again let me refresh your memory. The XIS was formed on May 2001, and it's called the Exchanging Insure Services, and it was created as a separate company owned by Exchanging, which is now DXC, Lloyd's, and IUA. to provide the comprehensive policy signing servicing. And their services are broadly classified into these four areas, which is outsourcing, processing, business process services, including the market wording database. We will talk about MWD later on, and then it's also provide the IT infrastructure. So the IT infrastructure for the messages are part of the exchanging insure services, which we will see later on that how they are supporting. Now, let's have a deep dive into the XDH and XAG piece of component, which is provided by XIS under the messaging infrastructure. So XDH stand for Exchanging Distribution Hub, and it is make it easier to move data between the parties, various parties. So around 200 organization which is already connected with the help of SDS to London market, which include the brokers and the companies. And this was typically used by a broker to submit the electronic account messages. On the other side, the XAG, which stands for Exchanging Accord Gateway, typically used for the distribution of broker and underwriting EDI messages and Accord messages. You can distribute the EDI and Accord messages from XAG gateway. The new gateway service means that the EDI files can now be delivered in Accord format over the Accord messaging service. So what happened due to the increased pressure of modernization? XIS sometime back introduced a project called Accord for All, where they are converting the EDI message into the Accord messages. We'll talk about Accord for All in next slide. And with the global gateway simplifying the data delivery and removing the London barrier to trading, this is an important move toward the future of global processing and make London market more accessible to the rest of the world. So they do a lot of important work in terms of modernization, and which allow London market to access information within the market and outside the market. Now let's quickly touch upon the Accord for All project. Due to the increasing modernization and Accord adoption, in the insurance industry, it was decided to move from EDI message to Accord message. So what happened? Many players they are not very much okay to receive the old-fashioned EDI message because they are running on the latest policy administration system. So they requested to have the message delivered as Accord messages. So LIRMA, ILU, and Lloyd's EDI messages available in Accord GLRC message standard. GLRC stand for Accord Global Reinsurance and Large Commercial Message Format. Exchanging Accord Gateway XAG is basically a company called WCL B2B product. So XAG is WCL's B2B product which they are using. So what web connectivity do and what exchanging do? So web connectivity supply Accord expertise. So web connectivity supply Accord expertise. So they are expert in Accord messaging standard and how to process those messaging standard. So what they do, they do the mapping to the target data definition, and they also do the working group input. They take the various input from different parties in order to standardize the messages, and they also do a maintenance work for XAG. Whereas on the other side, the exchanging supply the source data and expertise and provide all the necessary infrastructure. And they also do largely install source to target data definition in IBM WebSphere transaction extender. They also provide and do testing, and they manage the overnight batch processes, various batch processes. So Accord for All was a very interesting and important project within the London market because this allows the standard old-fashioned EDI message to get converted into the Accord GRLC standard and send across to the various parties who are subscribed to have these messages or these services. Next, so this diagram represents how the things works, how Accord for All do the transition. So what happened? The Accord for All, in Accord for All, you receive the non-accord information through FTP, SOAP request, or email. The XDH component, WCL B2B product, they take this information and they convert this information into the Accord GRLC standard, GRLC standard, and then they will send this Accord GLRC message to exchanging Accord gateway XAG, and this exchanging Accord gateway will use Accord messaging services and send the data to the various party who are subscribed to receive these services. So in the EDI context, here we will send the EDI messages to XDH, and XDH will convert these messages to the Accord standard, and then these messages will go to the exchanging Accord gateway XAG, and the XAG will use the AMS, which stands for Accord messaging services, to transmit this data to the various parties who are subscribed to receive these messages. Now the second part is the TML and the exchange. The exchange is the messaging hub that helps in sending and receiving the Accord message between the parties within the London insurance market. A single connection point with low overhead for organization to support and maintenance. It simplifies the interconnectivity between the IT service providers. The way of exchanging structure the information which can be fed directly into the back office system, and it provides a highly secure and reliable environment and network. The Message Exchange Limited is the company jointly owned by LMA, IUA, LIIBA, and Lloyd's. You can go back to my previous presentation to know more about these LMA, IUA, LIIBA, and Lloyd's. And TMEL aims to ensure the seamless, reliable, and uninterrupted messaging service to the insurance market in a cost-effective method to facilitate the exchange of data between the insurance business partner and trusted utility service to boost the insurance market competitiveness. So it's also helping Lloyd's to open its door to the various other insurance market in order to exchange the information into a most modern way in Accord standard. Now the exchange is currently supporting the Accord messages and used to support messages related to the DCS, data capture services. We discussed about the data capture services. The DCS is an online service that converts the content of market reform contract. This is all the information related to the risk. It also supports the e-endorsement that allow managing agent to transact endorsement electronically. And then it also supports the risk recon, the process of submitting the premium accounting transaction to non-bureau carriers using the Accord message. So we will talk about the risk recon message later on, but these messages are all meant for the non-bureau carriers. So now we talk about the message type in Lloyd's and company market. What are the various message type in Lloyd's and company market? So we have EDI messages and we have Accord XML messages. So under the EDI message, we have messages for Lloyd's EDI, we have messages for LIRMA, and we have messages for ILU. Whereas on the Accord side, we have messages for placement, we have a message for technical account, we have messages for financial account and claim moment. In this session, in this overview, we are going to talk about the EDI messages for Lloyd's, LIRMA, and ILU. Let's take the Lloyd's EDI message first. So we have 6 messages under the Lloyd's EDI message. The first message is the USM message, which stands for underwriters signing messages. The second message, the underwriters settlement message, UWR set. Monthly control messages stand for MCM. The SCM stand for syndicate claim messages. Lloyd's is largely around the reinsurance messages, Lloyd outward reinsurance system messages. And then we have BSM, which stands for broker signing messages. So don't worry about this message. I just want to give you overview about what are the various messages and what are the messages named within the Lloyds. We will discuss about these messages in later episode. We'll discuss in a nice swim lane diagram, like when these messages are getting triggered at what level to complete the entire picture. Now the second message is LIRMA EDI messages, which comes with IPC DSM for dealing signing messages. Dealing within the London market, dealing is the term used when you have not received the payment upfront by broker, and the payment will come after some time. So when the message doesn't have the payment information, then those messages are called as a dealing message. But I will discuss dealing messages in subsequent presentations. And then we have a D sign message, which is daily signing messages, and which followed by the W set messages, which is settlement messages, and the claim movement messages called as limp claim. So these are the LIRMA EDI messages. Then it comes to the ILU EDI messages, which is IPC CCM, it stands for dealing signing messages. Then ILU CSM, which is a dealing signing messages, which is not dealing, which means that the message is containing the payment information. And then the ILU CSB, which is settlement message within the ILU. And then we have the limp claim messages. So as I said earlier, I just wanted to give you a overview about the different type of messages and what are their names. But in subsequent sessions, I will explain what are these messages, what are within these messages, and how these messages are organized, and at what level, at what stage these messages are getting triggered, and what the information is covered within these messages later sessions. So that's all for this time. As I said, it's just an overview session, so I just want to set the stage first in order to get into the messages. I received many emails where people are requesting to discuss about the messages, which is quite unique in nature, very idiosyncratic. But but in order to get into the message, you must understand and set the clear stage that what are the messages and how those messages are organized, and what are the related infrastructure for those messages. So in this session, we have actually set the stage to discuss messages in detail. And as I said earlier, then in subsequent slide and in subsequent sessions, we will carve out each and every messages, and we'll start discussing about those messages in detail. So that's all from this session, and I hope you have enjoyed this session. All the very best. If you like this session, then please like this video and subscribe to my Let's Talk Business channel, so that you can keep on getting the new information about the London market. Thank you once again, and bye bye.